the latest features available in the upcoming release of version 8 of BigPicture. We will start with a quick comparison of the version 7 and 8. What you see right now on the screen is actually still the version 7, while what you have here is the version 8. BigPicture 8 adds much more functionalities at the portfolio level. Even bigger picture becomes available with the latest version of the tool. What was available up to BigPicture 7 was actually just a flat list of programs which you could manage in the using the overview or the home screen, which actually is in BigPicture 8 becomes a totally new module. This flat list of programs, well, that limited our users in such sense that while the concept of a program could mean actually lots of different things, such as you could use a program to represent a project, you could use a program to represent a portfolio, but you had to move back and forth, and you couldn't really get most of the information or manage your programs efficiently, which as you will soon see was result in version 8. So what is important is that the concept of a program slowly matured or evolved to the concept of a box. BigPicture 8 is actually powered by boxes. With the new overview module, you can now allow users to see a cross-enterprise view of all projects, products, programs. Okay, let me expand some of those items here. And much more. It might consist of, your portfolio might consist of different elements, actually any number of different elements, such as the traditional projects, hybrid projects, agile products, programs, agile release trains, which then consist of program increments, iterations, phases, and so on, and so forth. In other words, all your undertakings can be managed through the overview module that you see currently, and flexibility is there to ensure better adjustments of the methodologies you use in the organization. So what you see right now is the new redesigned overview or the home screen, which is actually a brand new module called Overview, and what is the list of previously created boxes. As you can see, each of these boxes, for example, the hybrid project here has a specific type. In that case, that is the hybrid project, which consists of several stages, which in turn consists of iterations. So that's just an example. I also have a portfolio here, EU portfolio box, which I can use to organize my undertakings into portfolio. What are the three main benefits of the new concept of boxes? First of all, BigPicture now allows different management methodologies and frameworks and provides a default configuration for each with a default configuration for each and a portfolio structure. As you can see here, one of the box types that I'm presenting right now is the EU portfolio. I created a couple of sample empty programs, empty boxes of a program box types. We have one art here, and using drag and drop, I can easily organize them into portfolio, although there might be some validation errors. So let me give a try to a different one. In case of the validation error you have just seen, the problem here is related to the configuration of the box. So I'll talk about it a bit later. Don't worry about it for now. What is also important is that we have you are now able to actually change the terminology used. Okay, so let's give it a try. Let's see how that looks. If, for example, I'll use the hybrid module, the hybrid project, you'll see that the list of available module differs from the standard version of BigPicture. That's because we can now modify the module names, so you'll be actually able to add different modules. In that case, for each of the phases, I can actually have a different set of I can apply different terminology. This way, you can adjust the names used to the needs of the cast of your company. Besides that, we can also aggregate data. Data aggregation is now possible in the overview module. In the previous versions, if you recall, what you had to do is you had to create a task hierarchy using the Gantt chart, using the artificial tasks. For example, you could organize your data into portfolios, actually using the artificial tasks. You could group your tasks as required. However, if you wanted to see this aggregated information, for example, a status-based report or time tracking progress report, you had to go back and forth to the program that you created that represented the portfolio. And then if you wanted to drill down and have a look at the risks, you either had to go to the create a dedicated dashboard or open the other program and go to the risks module. So this is no longer the case. You have the aggregated data in the overview module. Data aggregation, those aggregated fields are just the beginning of our of what we plan to implement. Actually, the overview module will be fully flexible, and it will work in a similar way to the scope or to what you've already know, the customizable column views. You will be able to actually design the perfect view with all the important data also aggregated. Aggregation is not only what you see right here on the screen. It is also the ability to connect to other tools. So the status aggregation includes not only my Jira data, but I'm actually also connected to Trello. Soon you will be able to connect to other tools such as Microsoft Azure or other Jira instances and have all your information in one place, while your teams can still be using the tools of their choice. So our goal is to provide a single system for all the different tools, all the different roles in the organization, assuring at the same time full data integrity. And thanks to the new security roles, which will on one hand simplified, but on the other hand moved to the extended at the box level, you can now fully manage who has access to what which boxes, and this opens new possibilities in actually managing the security. So we are really sure we really feel like with the new security schemes you will be able to grant access to the work that without actually maybe in BigPicture 8 we relied, and we still do, on the permission schemes in Jira, but this way you can actually manage the access to the boxes, the visibility of all the work that you see here more efficiently as well. Another major improvement is the user experience. So what you see here is what we refer to as a box switcher. This way you can easily navigate through all the boxes, okay? And the keyword here is the boxes, the concept of a boxes as well, but actually each of those items can be managed separately, as you can see here for each of those boxes. And maybe let me use an example of what we had in version 7. So we had those program increments, we had the iterations, but they were only accessible through this program box. Right now, each of those is could say a standalone box, and the sub boxes, in that case the program increments, the iterations, or whatever type whatever you want to however you want to name them, will have access to all the different BigPicture modules, which are currently, if I remember correctly, exactly 10. So we also have improved the navigation, so besides improving the navigation and using the box switcher, you can select the box that you want to view, that you want to work with. We have also added the right-click menu. So this way, most of the operations that were possible in the overview, for example, in the Kanban board, or by editing the view, are now possible using this menu. So I can, for example, change the status, go directly to the configuration, edit the box information, and this functionality is added to other modules as well. What is important is the box hierarchy. So as you can see, it has a tree structure, starting with the root level, or the root box, which can be renamed. In my case, it's called home, and it has a specific type main. This is the using this box, you can actually set the default configuration, which can be inherited by all the sub-level boxes. I will talk about the inheritance mode later. I'll show you some examples. However, for now, keep in mind that there are actually three levels of configuration, of managing the configuration of the boxes. That includes the box itself, of course, applies to all the sub boxes as well. As you can see here, I can go directly to the configuration of this particular box. It has the parent box configuration, which in that case would be a global for all the boxes, and we also have the box type configuration, which I'll talk about shortly. So about the concept of the box, what we have identified are the key box areas that allow you to manage the scope, manage the dependencies, the resources, milestones, key deadlines, and this is done through using all the different modules. So let's have a look at what has changed and what is important. As I've mentioned earlier, this overview became a standalone module. So a few more words about the concept of boxes within boxes. I've said that each of those is a fully functional box with for which you can select which modules you would like to use. And let's have a look at the hybrid project. So if I now open the first available module, which is the overview, I actually narrowed the list of boxes that you just seen to this particular hybrid project. Hybrid project also is the box type and name, and I can only see the sub boxes of this hybrid project, which are the hybrid stages: initiation of the project, operationalization, software development, which consists of different iterations. If I now select the overview of the software development sub box. I will drill down. Okay, let's click one more time. I will drill down to this particular box, and I can only see all the sub boxes. In that case, is the iteration. I can keep doing that with BigPicture. Both standard version and the enterprise. You can actually create unlimited numbers of sub boxes, which opens new possibilities and allows you to actually simulate almost any hierarchy. Of course, there are some rules that will apply. So that's the overview module. It also has what was available previously. So it also includes 3 different modes, starting with the, let me maybe go back to the home screen, to the main level. It also includes it still includes the timeline, the timeline view, the hierarchy mode, and a Kanban board where we can manage our boxes, change the view them, or a kind of timeline is actually a high-level roadmap where we have all our work presented in form of similar to the tasks on the Gantt line, on the Gantt chart or other road mapping tools, where you see the status of the boxes. They are color coded. You can edit their duration. You can also move all the boxes, but actually let's try to move this one, portfolio, with all the, and depending on the configuration, you can add also bulk change, bulk update, all the issues, all the tasks that are in scope of all these boxes. This is particularly useful when you have a project or undertaking on hold due to, for example, the current pandemic. You would like to update all the schedules. All you really need to do is just drag and drop the parent box, and all the tasks or the schedules are updated as well. So let's have a more detailed look at the hybrid project and all the all the modules that it offers. So we'll start with the Gantt. As you can see, in my case, it's actually renamed to schedule. That's one of the BigPicture enterprise features. So you can now rename all the different modules. I do recommend paying attention to the module type icons. This way, you won't get confused. Especially if you can't see the interface here when you are opening, when you want to select when you want to open one of the modules directly from the overview modules, from the overview module, relying on the box icons, which are not alterable, which cannot be changed, is always a good idea. With BigPicture 8, we finally replaced the old version of the Gantt with a brand new one. So right now, what you see is the new Gantt module. With that comes also the Gantt gadget. Okay, I really like the Gantt gadget, which I'll show you in a bit, as it is actually a almost fully functional Gantt module. You'll have the resources panel, you have the new info bar with the most important project data, such as the dependencies, such as the milestones, such as the list, such as the tasks on the critical path. By the way, the critical path was also improved, and what I really missed in the previous version of the Gantt is the ability to actually update the tasks, update that column list by using directly the interface. Not in BigPicture 7 we had to go to the box configuration to change the views, to add different fields. Right now this is no longer the case. You'll see that also the Gantt chart is much more vivid, much more colorful, and you can categorize your color code your tasks, categorize them, and use the brand new color coding palette. Besides that, we have couple of modules that don't really include that many changes. This is the scope module, which is renamed to WBS. Maybe I will customize it real quick. There's one important change that I would like to discuss here. It's the different type of fields that you can use. Actually, you see that if I would like to add the assignee, I have all those 3 different icons, starting with the BigPicture Jira server or field originating from my Jira instance, one field originating from my Trello instance, and one more built-in field type. So what does this mean, built-in? It means that any synced field can be now presented in a single column, whether it's a different project synchronization settings, whether it's a field that differs a little. Maybe it originates from a different tool, such as the connected Trello tool. All this can be added, can be presented in a single column, as compared to the previous version when if users had a different mapping of the start and end dates. For example, teams prefer to use we're already using the due date field after installing BigPicture 8, where we decided that you decided that you want to use an end date field. Additionally, right now the aggregated end date field shows the values of all the synchronized fields in a single column. We also have added a couple of improvements in the resources module. One of them is the very highly demanded workload contouring. So right now, what we can do is select the strategy or the contouring mode and adjust the how the workload is distributed. If you remember from the previous version, it was always even distribution, or what is now referred to as the flat contouring mode. Right now, we can not only change the mode here to flat, front-loaded, back-loaded, for example, which distributes the effort starting from the end date or starting from the start date, but also it allows me to manually resolve the over allocation problem. So what can I do here? I can actually edit the workload on any given day, and this way fix the over allocation. This way BigPicture becomes this way the resources module becomes much more flexible, and well, hopefully you won't be seeing the over allocations indicated with red anymore, as you can adjust those manually, and also update the remaining estimate. In that case, we can override the field if for example there is a need to update the remaining estimate or the original estimate. You don't have to go to the issue to edit the issue and update that there's using the Jira edit screen or the Jira issue detailed view. Besides that, we've also added we've improved a lot of, we standardized actually a lot of commonly used functionalities, starting with the card views. They can be customized now. They can be inherited by lower level boxes. I will demonstrate that shortly. We also have a new calendar view, and what is most and in different modules, BigPicture 8.7 enterprise features will be now available in the standard version. So let's have a more detailed view at the changes that I've prepared for today. So we'll start with the live sync of the Gantt module, and also one of the features that was available in the previous version of the Gantt. I mean the grouping, but as you can see right now, I have enabled the group tasks features. Now, when you're grouping tasks, they can be color coded. The color coding is you can see both on the task list as well as on the timeline. What you see right here in this box is the what if scenario mode, one of the top ranked features in our backlog. So we're very excited that it is finally here. Now you don't need to worry about making changes to your schedules. Although I see that something happened here, so let me give it one more try. In this bubble right here, you'll see the changes. Let me give it one more try. There we go. So all the changes are stored in the scenario history. You can have multiple scenarios, and for now, what we keep track of are the period changes, or the start and end date changes, as well as the task mode. You can merge to the live instance at any time, and also undo changes. Okay, so I can easily revert to the previous view. I can, with BigPicture Enterprise, create unlimited number of scenarios, while in the standard BigPicture version, you will have a one new scenario mode, one public and one private that you won't be able to share with other users. So as you can see, scenarios are color coded here, and again, with BigPicture Enterprise, there are no limits on the numbers of scenarios. You can, of course, try different scenarios, have a look at, compare them. What is also important, that it works not only with your schedule, but also with your resources workload allocation. All right. So what is also important, that for the whenever tasks are grouped, it's not only the task count in each of the groups, but you can also aggregate the data within the groups, which was not possible earlier. What I haven't mentioned, and sorry for that, is that is the ability to actually not the ability, is how we changed, redesigned how boxes are created. So one of the major changes, and let me open the older version here. Whenever you wanted to start work using BigPicture, you had to open the program wizard, which had the 4 standard options to create a new program, clone existing program, import the data if big template was installed, and also evaluate with sample data. Now, this program wizard is no longer available. 2 of those features, cloning and importing the data from the file, were moved to the Gantt and scope module accordingly. So I will demonstrate that. Unfortunately, the evaluate shown with sample data is no longer available. So if we understand that that a lot of you guys use this feature for demonstrations. What we propose right now is that we provided you, and if not, you can always contact Vera or other who are responsible for partner relations in our company to send you a instance with all the sample data that I am actually presenting right now. So it's much better. It's much better compared to the sample tasks that were created, and as you can see, I am using it right now for the presentation. But also, if you don't, for some reason, if you don't want to use that image and install it on your own Jira, you can always check our public instance available on our website. Although it will be upgraded once BigPicture 8 is released. So right now there's still version 7 if you access it. So how can we start working with BigPicture and actually add new programs? Add new boxes. When you click the Add New button, you will see this dialog with the list of box types that are available. As you can see, the box types are specific for different methodologies. So I have one created for to represent a safe Agile release train, one for Agile projects, for a hybrid project, for a portfolio, for a program box, just as in the previous version of BigPicture, also a classical project and less requirements. But that's not all. So let's try to create, for example, the let's go with the hybrid project. Okay, I'll create one. What you are required to do is to specify the start and end date, the basic box information, just as in the previous version. Once your box is created, you can now create the same level box, or you can actually create a sub box, in which case this would be the hybrid stage. And again, I am required to enter the end date. If I would like to create another stage, you can see that the tool actually remembers, can propose the end date based on the duration of the box that I created previously. So creating a really any hierarchy, even with multiple sub boxes, with multiple program increments, with multiple iterations, is really simple once you define the duration of one of the boxes. Now you might be wondering, okay, what happened that when I indent here, the options change here. So this actually this depends on the configuration of the box types. BigPicture admins can actually define how users can build the structure to the hierarchy to avoid errors, not to, for example, mix methodologies, and this can be configured in the BigPicture administration. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so as you can see right now, there are a couple of changes in this section. Some of the pages were moved. For example, the teams are now managed through the box hierarchy using the team module. What's new here is the box types page with all my pre-configured box types. What is the box type? It's a configuration template. Okay, so the boxes are, in other words, containers which can be pre-configured using the box types. And again, as I mentioned earlier, box types can be used, for example, for a specific methodology, can be used for a specific department in an organization, can be personalized, just as my box type that I created here. And what is important here is that they have you can define the parent types. Okay, so for example, if I want to create an iteration box, I can created as a sub box to program increments, to the less requirement area box type, to the program box, to the hybrid stage, and to the agile project. This way, in the drop-down that I showed you a minute ago, will be narrowed to only those particular parent types. So let me give you an example. I've created my personal box type. If I click the clickable name here, I will be moved to the box type detailed configuration. And what it is actually the menu here looks similar to the box configuration. So let's have a look at the previous version of the app. If we open the configuration of any of the so-called programs back then, you'll see that we have the basic tab, we have the modules, we have the tasks, we have the scope, scheduling, and so on and so forth. In the box configuration, you will find similar pages, okay, similar tabs. However, the configuration will be a bit different. So starting with the basics, I can define, for example, the parent type, and Mark's box type can be created under the main box, or if I define a different one, for example, the hybrid project, right now my box can be also created as a sub box to the hybrid projects. Let's have a look how this will change from the user's perspective. So if I created my hybrid project here, right now, if I click on the click to add a new box, Mark's box appears as the sub box to this hybrid project next to the hybrid stage. So as you can see, this way we actually make it much easier for the users to create such a box hierarchy. What else is new here in the box type section? So there's many more features. Let's have a look at one of those. Let's work with the hybrid project. So there are also advanced settings that allow us to change the scheduling rules. Those are period modes, which means that the parent box type can determine the earliest start date and latest end date of the sub box, or I can, just like on the Gantt chart, change the box mode to period mode to manual. I can also change the sequentiality settings. So as you can see, for my hybrid project, overlapping is allowed, while for the if I go to the hybrid stage, you will see that in the same configuration, it is sequential. What does this mean from the user perspective? It means that whenever we edit the start and end dates or go to the timeline view, you will see that some of the boxes of the same type can overlap, while some of those will be actually adjusted automatically by the scheduling mechanism of the app. What is the use case here is that a lot of our, what is the problem that we resolved here is that a lot of our customers had sprints running in parallel, and this required the iterations to overlap. So if I enabled the overlapping, I can actually make the iterations overlap. In which case the tool will not propose the end date. Okay, so this will be all manual. In my case, sequential boxes. Overlapping boxes are set for the main ones. So for example, my PI planning and my hybrid, okay, those can easily overlap. And of course, this applies to all the box types that have the sequentiality set to overlapping. So what else can we configure in the box type configuration? Well, first of all, from the most important, things, as I mentioned, BigPicture Enterprise allows you to change the naming. Okay, we understand that the terminology can vary from one organization to other, from one team to the other. So right now, this is no longer a problem. And for example, lots of our customers told us that they love the Gantt module, but if we could rename it to an Agile roadmap, for example, and show the high level epics or high level features on the timeline, that would be great. Right now, we can do that. Although in my example here, it's renamed to simply to a schedule. And of course applies to all the different modules which you can enable and disable. Okay, sorry for that. Let me disable my Slack here. Other than that, we can actually manage the scope more efficiently as well. And due to the new box type, which is the portfolio, we can also create boxes with the scope type set to aggregations only. Those would be used only to aggregate data, which means that if you open such a box, let's have a look at the portfolio. For example, okay, this particular portfolio box, let's have a look at the portfolio for the US. As you can see, it does consist of several projects. Some of them have tasks, but if I try to go to configure my box, you will also see that the box configuration page looks a bit differently, not because the modules are disabled. I can enable them. Okay, but first of all, let's have a look at the scope. The scope definition section is not available here. Okay, this box is not able to show you any tasks. Also, if we go to the Gantt module, for example, it simply does not display any tasks. It's only for the aggregation purposes. Aggregations means that that data is shown, the aggregated data is shown here. There's another use case for the parent box. In that case, same applies to the root box. It, as I mentioned earlier, you can use it to bulk change the settings of the whenever the inheritance mode is applied, which I will demonstrate shortly. So let's go back to the administration one more time and see the remaining options here. Again, I won't go into all the details. I will cover the most important. Going back to the scope, there are two other modes. On scope, which allows users to define, just as we did in version 7, the automated rules using the filters, using, for example, the board filters, using the previously saved JQL filters, or simply pick from the list of available projects. Let's have a look at the hybrid project box configuration. So it is the scope definition. The scope type is set to on. So as you can see, just like in the previous version, I can change the tasks within the scope. But what is new here is I can also manage the sub-scope, or the synchronization of all the sub boxes. In that case, my initiation of the project stage, my software development, which then I can drill down to the iteration. That was referred earlier to the Agile schedule, or to the scope synchronization in the board module. Right now, it is editable in the tasks scope definition page. Now, what is important, if we go to the software development phase stage, for example, you will see a different view here. Okay, so since my software development box does not allow to set the own scope, all you can see here is the synchronization settings of the sub boxes. So that has also changed. And also, guys, whenever we're talking about the board module, remember that moving through the hierarchy of the boxes here narrows the scope, narrows the list of tasks that you will see in different BigPicture modules. So, for example, if I open the scope module, the schedule, or the Gantt, I can only see tasks that are assigned to the software development box. Also, if I go to the board module, right now you can see that I don't have the program increment level anymore as compared to the previous versions when we could drill down to the iterations. Right now, this is no longer the case. Also, what was previously BigPicture 8 feature, right now the reports are available in the standard version. So at both levels, the upper level subbox and the lower level subbox. Okay, so what else can we find in the administration? I think that one of the features that will actually make the configuration of all the subboxes much easier is the already mentioned inheritance mode. So what does it do, and how can we configure our boxes? So first of all, some of the features that we believe are most commonly used are the quick filters, the card views of the risks module, the column views of the board, the column views of the Gantt, and so on and so forth, and the scope. So, for those features, you can set the inheritance mode or allow users to configure it themselves. Whenever you select the own inheritance, you will be able to create default card views, which will be added whenever a new box of a particular of a given type is created. Whenever the inheritance mode is configured, users will not be box admins will not be able to configure such a to change the configuration. And let me give you an example. So if we go to our again, let's go to the hybrid project. Let's open one of the iterations, which and both hybrid stage box type and iteration box type have the inheritance mode enabled. If we go to the iteration, let's see what modules are available. Let's have a look at the Gantt module. Okay, and let's have a look at the available column views. So we have 3 column views available: teams, hybrid view, time tracking. And if I go to the box configuration, if I go to the Gantt view, as you can see, the task templates can be configured. The inheritance mode is not enabled for that. However, I don't see the column view page. The reason for that is, again, the inheritance mode. So how can I change that? How can I standardize the configuration used? All I need to do is to add a new column view in the parent box. In that case, it will be the hybrid project. So let's give it a try. As you can see, also the Gantt module is renamed here as the schedule. So let me add a new column view. I will call it my column view. I'll make it public. The configuration here is not that important, although I will add a couple of fields. Okay, so the assignee, the start and end date, maybe the cost here, maybe the creation date, why not? Okay, so just as an example. And right now, if I open the schedule, I'll expect to see my column view, which is now set to active. And also, if I go to all the way to the iterations subbox, my column view is also available. So this way, you'll save a lot of time when configuring the tool. It also applies to the quick filters, which, by the way, now have a new feature, new operator. You can combine, you can decide whether you want to how you want to combine the active filters. Previously, it was always set to end. Right now, you can decide whether you want to use the or AND gate when enabling the quick filters. All right, let's have a look if I missed something. Also, what is important here is that some of the settings that you could configure using the administration page were moved now to the box type configuration. So if you cannot find something, this is the place to look for it. I also talked a lot about the security settings. So right now we have simplified it globally. There are two main roles: app user and app admin, who has access to all areas of BigPicture. However, at the box level, we have one new role. Some of them were renamed. One new role, which is the sub box creator. So now we can decide assign users to this role, and they will be able to create sub boxes. So we don't have to worry about managing the schedule. We can delegate it to a particular users. Besides that, there are pretty standard, which are the read-only mode or the box viewer, box editor, who can manage the box, so we can start and change some of the box configuration, such as the start and end date, can edit the content, all the objectives, risks, and using different modules, as well as the box admin, who can has all the permissions to manage the box. Includes, of course, all the lower level security roles as well. And security roles can be also inherited. We assume that they are actually always inherited. Also, you can although you can extend the security, extend the access to a sub box when you select the on with inherited. All right, so besides that, I think we covered the most important ones, and let's have a closer look at the remaining BigPicture features. So I talked about the what if scenario, in general, about the whole new Gantt chart. We have another new module, which is called the calendar. A simple yet powerful module. So as you can see, it shows me the list of the upcoming tasks. It shows you. It also shows you the task count on any given day. It has the heat map mode, which allows color codes the tasks based on their status or based on manual codes that you select using the Gantt module. Besides that, we covered the workload countering. Let me find a module for the roadmap and the board. So let me find some sample data. I think it's called the objectives, if I remember correctly. In that case, and if we drill down, I should be able to see color-coded objectives. So in my PI Planning Smart House project, which consists of the standard program increment and iteration sub boxes. What you see right now is I can actually color code my objectives whenever the heat map mode is enabled. So whether they will be color coded based by status, the status can be changed by simply dragging the slider to 100%. Of course, I can also edit this objective just as I did in the previous version, but use a custom color coding to, for example, show objectives that are at risk, or categorize them by team, prioritize them as well. Do all sorts of useful things, but change the status and whether I rely on the status or on manual colors. The objectives can be also now displayed using the board module. So what was missing in the previous version was the connection between the board and the roadmap module, in my case called objectives, and the board. So what we could not do is to show all the stories here together. I'm sorry. Together with the team objectives here. Right now, we can show all this information in a single view. What I haven't talked about, I think, is one of the features I particularly I really one of the features that I like most here. Let me find a better sample data. It's actually the live sync mode of the Gantt module. So right now, all the changes that users make by editing their tasks, and which can be viewed on the Gantt module. Let me find a better view here, okay, with some start and end dates. All the changes can be now, okay, let me disable the filters here. Okay, I'm actually moving quite a lot of tasks here. Let's give it one more try. Okay, so as you can see, what happens now is that some of the tasks that I move, some of the let's give one more try here. Okay, changes are now updated in real time. So if I move a task, all the tasks that were updated are highlighted yellow. I'm giving you an example with the start dates because I will have to edit the task, for example, change that original estimate or change the assignee, and this would not be that visible. However, imagine that someone else is making an update to any of those tasks, and they will be highlighted yellow. All the changes will be synced in real time. You don't have to refresh the Gantt chart anymore. And again, assuring that you're always looking at the latest actual start and end dates, or actual field values, whatever field you add here as a column. I also mentioned that we have added the right-click to different modules. So, for example, in the Gantt chart, you can change the position, you can of the tasks, you can organize by selected fields, change the period modes, change the color coding. And what I really like is some of the features, not everything, it depends on what I actually select, will be also available when with multi-selecting. So, for example, I can change the color of the tasks if I can manage my hierarchy more easily, move multiple items if I want to structure, create this hierarchy manually. I think we covered most of the new functionalities with one exception, and that would be the ability to connect other tools. So if you remember, I mentioned in the beginning that with BigPicture 8, we can assure we can through the use of different BigPicture. So maybe let me start one more time. So with BigPicture 8, we can finally connect to other tools. BigPicture is now officially a multi-platform tool, the single source of truth. So how can I do that? If I open one of my projects, let's go with my hybrid project, I can now connect to Trello. Later on, we'll add support for other tools with version 8.1 to Microsoft Azure. Later on this year, to other Jira instances, server and cloud. So let's try to establish such a connection with Trello. As you can see, I am already connected. What does this mean? It means that each time I actually create such a connection, I have to authenticate myself with the Trello tool and updates to this Trello tool, to the cards in Trello will be via the authenticated account. As you can see, my connection is established already. It is really simple to connect, especially that both Jira and Trello use the same account. Atlassian unified that. How can I actually? What can I achieve with that? Let me connect. Let me show you what my source data is in case of Trello. So we do have one board that is actually the Power Up public roadmap. And for those of you who are familiar with Trello, so you'll see that the columns here are actually Trello lists on which you can add Trello cards. And also on the Trello cards, well, they have the labels, they have the overdue date, the due date. We can also add checklist items or checklist in general. So I have a couple of those cards with a couple of those lists with a couple of cards and with a progress, for example. Let me now try to add this to my hybrid project. So as you can see, what happened is that a new section appeared here to define the scope. If I open the automatic rules, you'll see that the options differ compared to what's available in Jira, because we don't have JQL filters, we don't have the projects, but what we do have is the boards. So let me find my public Power Up roadmap. There it is. Oh, sorry, I clicked the link. And right now, as you can see, 11 more tasks will be added to the scope. Let me save that, and I'll also show you the task structure here. Task structure, as it also added a new section where I can decide how I would like to automate the how the hierarchy is generated. So I'll keep all the items on, although I don't recall any checklist but we'll see. So if we go back to our schedule, what I do expect now is, let me disable the quick filters. We don't need them for now. What I do expect here is, okay, this synchronization is triggered. That means that the tasks were loaded. Okay, there we go. And if I collapse here my phases, you will see that all the way on the bottom here, I have my Trello Power Up. And now if I extend it, okay, I see that there's still some items synchronizing. Okay, there we go. Okay, guys, so I see that there is a problem. That's sorry for that, but that's actually caused by one of those extensions to Chrome. So by the way, if you experience problems, I do recommend checking if the problems also appear when occur when you are using the incognito mode. But as you can see here, I do have my tasks. Okay, so they can now sync. So let me add the labels field, for example, and I will use the labels from Trello. I should be actually labels. I should be able to see the labels field that combines those two, but for some reason I cannot see it. Oh, there we go. It does load. So so sorry for the problems. I'm actually surprised because I've done the same thing using a different program. It doesn't, a different box. It didn't retrigger the synchronization all the time. All right, so so as you can see, the field works now. I won't be changing the names here because it's a public roadmap, so I don't want to change the data. But again, it is synced in real life. And last thing I wanted to show you is that if we go to the Jira administration, you will also Jira administration or settings, manage apps. You will also see some new pages here. Since we added the live sync mode, now you can set the refresh interval for the Gantt. Also, the Gantt markers can be live sync. Also, the board module, which was previously available, can live sync. But I think the most important for the customers is actually the Gantt and board live syncs, especially that we are all working remotely now. What you also find here is the change to the new page related to the established connections. So as you can see, I have other tools such as Trello connected to my Jira, while my Jira instance is the main connection.